This is your Barbados Today Morning News Update for Friday, May 17, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. A former head of the Barbados Defense Force is assisting with the establishment of a new agency to fight organized crime and corruption. In making the announcement during a post-cabinet press briefing yesterday, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said the major organized crimes and anti-corruption agency will help protect the country's borders, including against terrorism.
Cabinet also agreed that Colonel Quinton, former head of the Barbados Defense Force, will be assisting as the expert in helping us to get this major crimes and anti-corruption agency off the ground. Before we get to the stage of hiring anyone else, we need to have the legislative framework, and the Attorney General is something that is known in other Commonwealth territories, but the Attorney General has to bring legislation that first allows the agency to be established, that sets out what the powers of the agency will be, that sets out what its responsibilities will be, sets out who it is intended to work with, for example, the Royal Barbados Police Force, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, etc. That those are the local entities it may work with, but it will also work with overseas entities as required, and those will be known as strategic partners. There will be an oversight committee, for example, that the legislation will have to provide for, to ensure that the persons acting in that agency are accountable in the same way that you have a police complaints authority to hold policemen accountable.
The National Cruise Development Commission report is in, and it has found a number of shortcomings, according to Minister of Tourism, Kerry Simmons.
In a nutshell, the findings are essentially that the country was largely flying blind with respect to the cruise side of tourism in Barbados. There were no evaluations being taken, and we really did not take stock of our weaknesses and areas of underperformance. And there are unfortunately several of them. The first issue, of course, is the question of spend. I've spoken to this before, and we feel that the issue of spend is perhaps the most important aspect of the tourism challenges facing this country.
Aside from challenges relating to visitor experience and spending, Minister Simmons says the report also cited issues with the physical infrastructure in Bridgetown. He outlines the next steps.
Cabinet today deliberated on this, and we've set up 3 working committees. We will keep the Cruise Commission together, but in 3 working committees. The first committee will be dealing with attractions and experiences. The coordinator of that during the life of the commission was Roseanne Myers, and that will continue. The second one is Bridgetown and national tours, the reimagination and redevelopment of Bridgetown, and also the assessment of national tours. Mr. Dean Straker has been working on that, and he continues to take the lead. And Mr. Errol Humphrey, who is the chair of the committee, of the commission, will be the lead for the continuing work that we have to do on air and seaports, and also the question of retail and craft.
Still with politics, the Barbados Labour Party is getting ready to present its report card to Barbadians as it celebrates a year since its sweeping victory at the polls. First, it will hold a Thanksgiving service this Sunday at the James Street Methodist Church at 9 a.m. Next Sunday, members of Parliament will hold services in their respective constituencies. BLP leader Mia Mottley says a mass public meeting and rally will also be held, where a report on her government's performance will be given.
In good old Barbadian style, we will have a public meeting and rally on the 25th of May, Saturday the 25th of May. Is it at Carlisle Car Park? And unlike previous meetings, because it's a rally and because we have a lot to report, the meeting will start at 6 o'clock the evening as opposed to 7, and it's a Saturday evening, and there'll be a number of speakers and interspersed with some entertainment, but it is more about reporting to people and looking forward, and that is what we want to do on the 25th of May. And early the following week, I will then have an engagement with the country where, as Prime Minister, then I will report progress and speak to the way forward as we go forward again.
The state-run Queen Elizabeth Hospital is 3 incubators shy of the full complement needed for its neonatal unit. The unit currently has 17 incubators, one of which was donated yesterday through a partnership by St. Nicholas Abbey and Eric Hassel Shipping. While commending the businesses for the donation valued at $49,000, newborn intensive care specialist Dr. Gillian Birchwood says more assistance will be appreciated.
So we have babies who are from around 600 grams and up that we have on our unit. That's just over a pound. And these babies will spend a considerable amount of time on the intensive care unit. Sometimes we have babies that come and spend a couple of days with us, larger babies. Smaller babies may spend several months. And during that time, for the vast majority of the time, they will need to be in one of these incubators. So because of the length of time that babies need to be in the incubators, in order to service those who need to be here for a long period of time, as well as those who need to be here for a short period of time, we need about 20 incubators.
In sports, operator of the rapidly growing Promotech Barbados Inc. has taken a stake in the Barbados Trident. CEO of Promotech Barbados, Kailash Pardasani, made the announcement last night as the company celebrates its 20th anniversary. While further details will be revealed at a press conference tomorrow, Pardasani says it's his intention to improve the face of CPL.
We've gotten together with some very close friends of ours, locally and internationally, and we have purchased together as a group the Barbados Tridents. CPL. We're looking forward to positively changing the face and rocking CPL for this and many more years to come. So with my international brother from Dallas, co-CEO of the Barbados Tridents, he's asked me and I've graciously accepted, and I will be the co-CEO of the Barbados Tridents for the local posse.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Further afield, talks are on the way in Norway between Venezuela's government and democratic opponents in a possible search for a mediated solution following a failed uprising against President Nicolas Maduro. Norway's foreign ministry says its norm isn't to comment on possible roles in ongoing or potential peace talks, adding that they strongly encourage the parties to find a political and peaceful solution to avoid further escalation. Norway has a tradition of conflict mediation, including assisting with Colombia's 2016 peace deal between the government and FARC rebels. And finally, Iran says it's committed to its obligations under an international nuclear deal despite the U.S. withdrawal from the landmark agreement. At the same time, the country's foreign minister says the reimposition of sanctions by Washington is unacceptable. We get the details in this report.
Iran's highest power, for his part, that's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has dismissed the possibility of a military confrontation.
There won't be a war, because we don't want conflict, and neither does the US, as it knows it's not in its interest.
Over the past days, the messages exchanged between the two countries have been far from conciliatory. The US even ordered the departure of all non-essential staff from its diplomatic missions in Iraq in the early hours of Wednesday. In addition to that, Germany and the Netherlands suspended the trainings of their soldiers in the country. This after media reports emerged that the White House was considering sending 120,000 US troops to the Middle East in case of an attack by Iran, a claim denied by Trump. Today, Iraq is home to Iranian-aligned militias while also serving as a base for some 5,000 US troops. This is why observers fear a US-Iran standoff could play out in this country.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Exumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.